Hi everyone, my name is Anita and I work for Cowork 724 as a strategic advisor. I'm not a techie person, I'm like a researcher, so this is where I come. I support with research and also fine-tuning the strategy of the company. So a little bit about Cowork 724. We created an app for coworkers and coworking spaces as well. So that's a booking app. You can book a coworking desk for a meeting room in a coworking space easily via our app. Right, but before I joined to this wonderful company, I did my PhD in the UK, and yes, so it was about coworking spaces. I started my research in 2013, and I completed just last year, and I can say that my PhD was one of the very first focusing on coworking spaces. And today I would like to share some of my results with you, more specifically what motivates people or demotivates people to join a co-working space. So for my research, I had two research questions, because we like research questions or hypotheses, but I picked research questions. So I was curious about whether is co-working an effective model to support creative and entrepreneurial activities of member businesses, and how to design co-working spaces in a best way that maximizes creative and entrepreneurial activities. And I was focusing on medium and middle-sized cities, and especially to Cardiff. I don't know if you are familiar with Cardiff or you know where is Cardiff. So Cardiff is the capital of Wales and is located in the UK. So I was focusing on this middle-sized city with a population of 350,000 people. Right. So, yeah, so this is a nice picture of the co-working space, right? But unfortunately, what usually happens is like, so what happens is usually it's based on research, half of your people at least will be gone to a different co-working space in a year, right? So for my research, I also did interviews, but member survey as well, and I had a question of why people join a co-working space. And so the first thing why people join a co-working space is interacting with like-minded people. The second one is expanding social and business network. And then the third one, co-working gives a cheap solution. And the fourth reason why people join a co-working space is to be more creative, is to be in a more creative environment. But when I ask people why they join a particular co-working space, and I'm again talking about Cardiff, so why people join the co-working space in Cardiff, surprisingly they said that the number one reason is for the good office infrastructure. And only the second one was a social and enjoyable atmosphere. The third one was interacting with like-minded people. And the fourth one was community. Right. So it's a surprising result, right? So why would the co-working spaces look for office environment first? So there is a co-working pyramid of needs, and then actually backs up my research. So the basic needs for co-working spaces is obviously Wi-Fi, so the good office environment, workstation, office equipment, storage, proximity, meeting room, drink and food. The second need is for co-workers is feeling safe and feeling good. So they need an atmosphere, confidence, they need advice, they need financial safety, trust between co-workers, and a cool and relaxed atmosphere. And the fourth need is get social. So they value a lot social relationships, collective projects, community events, and feel valued and be the change is the top of the pyramid. So be part of a community, take an active role, acknowledge skills, and most importantly, to live in harmony with the values of co-working. Right, so I get into more detail. So the first thing, remember, in my research, why people pick the co-working space, is because they were looking for an appealing layout and design. So why is that? Why not community? Because when you actually establish your co-working space, and then you try to advertise it like, okay, come and join into my co-working space. There is a cool community, nice atmosphere. Those people who never heard of co-working, they just don't know what is co-working, right? And you can't sell this, that join a nice community and an atmosphere, but because people will pay for the your space, like what they see, the layout and the design. This is what people will pay for. It's very important what I found in my research that most of the spaces I visited, the space reflected the neighborhood and the composition of its members. So you have to really think what sort of people are you targeting. Are they techie people, bohemian people, creative people? But when you set up your co-working space, you also need to be careful. What is the neighborhood look like? So it's better to always design your space that reflects the neighborhood. This is again something I found in my research. It's very important that the space has to stimulate, encourages, and people need to feel comfortable to be at. It has to be comfortable, cozy, professional as well, but not too professional, not too cozy, so you have to find the right balance when you are designing a co-working space. The other important thing is that people in your space need different areas for different activities. So when you create your co-working space, you need to offer a wide variety of spatial layouts dedicated to different activities. So we talk about open offices, dedicated desk or flexi desk. We talk about meeting rooms, phone booths where people get a little bit of privacy. And the cafeteria is also very important because that's the space where people usually bump into each other and have little tiny chats with each other. So this is my golden rule for space design, and this reflects back what I just said about creating different areas for different activities. Because when people try to be creative, they follow different behaviors and they need different spaces for that. So the second one was the enjoyable atmosphere, but how can you create this atmosphere? So this is a statement from one of the co-workers I talked to. There is always something going on, or someone's doing something totally different, thing that makes your day interesting. So when you pick your people, or when you attract your people, it's very important that you create experiences in your space, social experiences as well, where people can be bond around, and it's a nice atmosphere, they feel good, they feel valued, it's a trustful environment when people are not afraid to talk to each other. Events are extremely important as well in the co-working space. You can offer different events, professional events, social events, workshops, learning events, always something that people need in your co-working space. You always have to talk to people, listen to people, and then based on that you can make happen what people actually need in your co-working space. Host. We heard that hosts, community managers, tumblers, whatever we want to call them, they are really, really important in your co-working space. They connect people, they talk to people, they find out social interest of people, and they create first social bonds between people, because social bonds are the most important before actually any business happens in your co-working space. So you really need to pick great hosts. Like I visited co-working spaces where the hosts were not very nice, not very welcoming, and it had a huge effect on the whole community. And then people just started to leave the space because they didn't feel that that space can give them trust and provide a nice atmosphere when they can be themselves. Community is extremely important, and it relates back to the atmosphere of the space. Celebrating happy accidents. This is a serendipity map. I took a photo in one of the co-working spaces. If you show to people what connections has been created in your space, that also gives them comfort, and then they can see that they achieve success, who achieve success in the space, and it's also give them a good comfort feeling, and then they can be creative, passionate, and they can do their work in a more productive way. Creating opportunities and increasing awareness, it's also very important in a co-working space. So I took this photo in one of the co-working spaces in America I visited. So these are information boards. You can see that in which area, who is in, and then also helps you to actually purposefully find the people, the person who you want to talk. And then you can also check the experience people has, the background people has, and then it's always much easier to talk to someone if you are familiar with the person. Right, so part of my research was also find out what demotivates people to join a co-working space. And so first I focused on the co-workers' motivation, and I didn't tell at the beginning, but I surveyed like 89 people in my questionnaire, and then the other part of the survey was focused on location-independent professionals and home-based businesses, and finding out why they never be regular members of a co-working space. So when I talked to people, they said many reasons why they don't want to choose a co-working space. No value of doing, no need it, so I can work wherever. Usually that's home or a friend's place, maybe a coffee shop. Doesn't appeal to me. The beauty of my job is not having a formal working pattern. Concern about the cost, and also the location was mentioned, that they didn't have any co-working space close to their home. So this is again very important demotivational factors for people who don't want to choose a co-working space or don't want to be in a co-working space. So it's a very short presentation because I would prefer to ask questions if you have any question about what I found, and giving also your feedback. So I would like to end this presentation with some key takeaways. You have to be careful because every culture is different, and then you cannot copy existing co-working space models. So you have to actually think about what fits to your culture, what fits to your city, and then based on that you can decide what sort of approach you will create or what sort of model of co-working space you would like to set up. And what is very important that you have to approach people with a problem they know they have, because if you create something that people doesn't need, then people are not going to use your co-working space. Very important to shape your offer based on what sort of people you want to get into your space. You always have to listen to them, talk to them, find out what they want, and based on that you can create a cool offer for them. And you have to always adjust the layout and the design based on what your people need. I see co-working spaces, I followed them from the start, and I could see the change what they went through. Like for when they opened, they only had a huge open space with a few meeting rooms, but then they realized that people need some private phone booths, so they created that. They created the coffee, the lounge area where people could meet freely and just talk to each other. So it's very, very important to always to listen to your people and based on that create what they need. And so hire a good host, a good person who creates connections, encourages, inspires and motivates people. And diversity is cool, but you don't have to be afraid of being a sector-specific space. If you want to do that, those spaces work, and certainly there are people who would want to join a sector-specific space. What I also found that location-independent professionals, well, better to say, freelancers, home-based businesses, are never going to be your regular users, but you can create experiences, but they make them to go to your co-working space. And thank you. So if you have any questions to me, please feel free to ask. I'm going to be here until Sunday, so you can come anytime and talk to me about my research. Yes?
You mentioned that 56% of members will leave within the first year. What are the main reasons for that?
The main reasons, you said. Yeah, because people are leaving co-working spaces because their needs are changing, they outgrow the co-working space, or they just don't like something about the co-working space. And basically these are the main reasons why people leave. It is, yes. So that's the stat. So more than half of your people will leave the space. Yes. Any other question? Yeah.
So you did a survey of a lot of reasonable people that are able to work. Mark. Sorry.
And then, based on that, you can make happen what people actually need in your co-working space. Host. We heard that host, community managers, tumblers, whatever we want to call them, they are really, really important in your co-working space. They connect people, they talk to people, they find out social interest of people, and they create first social bonds between people, because social bonds are the most important before actually any business happens in your co-working space. So you really need to be great hosts. Like I visited co-working spaces where the hosts were not very nice, not very welcoming, and it had a huge effect on the whole community. And then people just started to leave the space because they didn't feel that that space can give them trust and provide a nice atmosphere when they can be themselves. Community is extremely important, and it relates back to the atmosphere of the space. Celebrating happy accidents. This is a serendipity map. I took a photo in one of the co-working spaces. If you show to people what connections has been created in your space, that also gives them comfort, and then they can see that they achieve success, who achieve success in the space, and it also gives them a good comfort feeling, and then they can be creative, passionate, and they can do their work in a more productive way. Creating opportunities and increasing awareness, it's also very important in a co-working space. So I took this photo in one of the co-working spaces in America I visited. So these are information boards. You can see that in which area, who is in, and then also helps you to actually purposely find the people, the person who you want to talk. And then you can also check the experience people has, the background people has, and then it's always much easier to talk to someone if you are familiar with the person. Right, so part of my research was also find out what demotivates people to join a co-working space. And so first I focused on the co-workers' motivation, and I didn't tell at the beginning, but I surveyed like 89 people in my questionnaire, and then the other part of the survey was focused on location-independent professionals and home-based businesses, and finding out why they never be regular members of co-working space. So when I talked to people, they said many reasons why they don't want to choose a co-working space. No value of doing, no need it, so I can work wherever. Usually that's home or a friend's place, maybe a coffee shop. Doesn't appeal to me. The beauty of my job is not having a formal working pattern. Concern about the cost, and also the location was mentioned, that they didn't have any co-working space close to their home. So this is again very important demotivational factors for people who don't want to choose a co-working space, or don't want to be in a co-working space. So it's a very short presentation because I would prefer to ask questions if you have any question about what I found, and giving also your feedback. So I would like to end this presentation with some key takeaways. You have to be careful because every culture is different, and then you cannot copy existing co-working space models. So you have to actually think about what fits to your culture, what fits to your city, and then based on that you can decide what sort of approach you will create, or what sort of model or co-working space you would like to set up. And what is very important that you have to approach people with a problem they know they have, because if you create something that people doesn't need, then people are not going to use your co-working space. Very important to shape your offer based on what sort of people you want to get into your space. You always have to listen to them, talk to them, find out what they want, and based on that you can create a cool offer for them. And you have to always adjust the layout and the design based on what your people need. I see co-working spaces, I followed them from the start, and I could see the change that they went through. Like for when they opened, they only had a huge open space with a few meeting rooms, but then they realized that people need some private phone booths, so they created that. They created the coffee, the lounge area where people could meet freely and just talk to each other. So it's very, very important to always listen to your people and based on that create what they need. And so hire a good host, a good person, who create connections, encourages, inspire and motivates people. And diversity is cool, but you don't have to be afraid of being a sector-specific space. If you want to do that, those spaces work, and certainly there are people who would want to join a sector-specific space. And what I also found that location-independent professionals, better to say, freelancers, home-based businesses, are never going to be your regular users, but you can create experiences that they make them to go to your co-working space. Thank you. So if you have any questions to me, please feel free to ask. I'm going to be here until Sunday, so you can come and talk to me about my research. Yes?
You mentioned that 56% of members will leave within the first year. What are the main reasons for that?
The main reasons. Yeah, because people are leaving co-working spaces because their needs are changing, they outgrow the co-working space, or they just don't like something about the co-working space, and basically these are the main reasons why people leave. It is, yes. So that's the stats. So more than half of your people live really in the space. Any other questions? Yes.
可是他们的 speaker 是从这边，从这样，如果那个拍也没有拍不过。我不知道。
In your survey, you said that you asked.
Hello. Oh, wow. That is so much better. In your survey, you said you spoke to a lot of people that were able to co-work because they were able to work location independent, preferred to work in their room or in a cafe. Did you study, in terms of the sales pitches that we have, in terms of, yes, we have diversity of spaces that appeal to different people, and these are the benefits of the community that we have. Did you study which pitch to these people that aren't currently engaging with our community could actually be sold? You know, what was the most effective way to sell people that aren't interested in co-working on some of the benefits to them? Do you know which factors would be most likely to convert them into a customer?
Yeah, so I studied also that aspect. Like I was talking to many location-independent professionals and home-based businesses why they don't use co-working spaces. It was quite difficult to find them. Like I used to go to coffee shops or freelance meetups or events usually, and that was the time when I talked to people. And so, especially in Cardiff, at that time, there was only 2 co-working spaces, so in 2013 when I started my research. And so some people didn't find the offer of those co-working spaces appealing to them, and just didn't fit their personality or their type of business. And yeah, basically, that was most of the things they mentioned that they didn't like. That answered your question?
So my question is kind of, did you after then follow up and test them on what kind of pitches could be made that would appeal to them to convert them into,
yeah,
or they just completely closed down and said they're not interested?
Yeah, well, I closed down then, I didn't follow up.
Okay.
Because basically I wanted to find out where are those people and why they don't go. They also taught me some ideas why they would go to a co-working space, if the co-working space would offer that, like very flexible passes, like time for collaboration passes when they can go to a co-working space for a few hours to collaborate with people, or also if a co-working space has a desktop that has like some special software they need their work that also attracts them to the co-working space for a few hours. So they told me a few of these ideas that would make them to go. So thank you. Any other questions? Yes?
Hi, you mentioned that a co-working space should always adjust the layout every time, right?
Excuse me?
You mentioned that a co-working space should always adjust the layout of the space.
Yes, exactly. It's
so,
very important.
How frequent do you recommend to adjust it? Like, is it once a month or once a year? Thank you.
Yeah, well, it really depends. Like you will know how often do you have to adjust your space. Like when you talk to people, you observe people, how they use the space, what they miss in your space, and based on that you can decide how often you have to do that. Like there is no rule for that. This is always what you will find out in your community when you talk to people. Any other questions? No? Okay. Then thank you very much.